Hello, everyone. I'm Clara Bennett, and I'm 82 years old this year. I'm sitting here in the small kitchen of the old house that Walter and I bought nearly 50 years ago, holding a cup of cold coffee, looking out at the backyard garden where the roses are still blooming, even though he's been gone since 2018. Today, I want to tell you all a story straight from the bottom of my heart. It's the moment I realized that just one single sentence, spoken at the right time and in the right way, is enough to make my grown children stop looking down on me and start respecting me. Right away. No shouting, no crying, no blaming, just calm and steady. I never thought that at this age I would have to learn how to talk to my own adult children. Walter has been gone for 8 years now. His heart stopped beating suddenly one cold October morning. Since then, I've tried to live alone, holding on to the memories and the little stories from our life together. But my children, Jack, who's 55 this year, and Sarah, who's 52, seem to look at me more and more like a faint shadow. They're busy with their jobs, their own kids, and the worries of modern life. And me? I'm just the old mother who sometimes calls to share a little memory about their dad or to ask how they're doing, but almost every time they cut me off in the middle. I remember clearly the first time that feeling weighed on my chest like a rock. Jack called to ask to borrow money to fix his old truck. I was trying to tell him about the time Walter and I drove across the country in 1987 and stopped by Lake Michigan to watch the sunset. Mom, I'm really in a hurry. Can we save that old story for later? I just need you to transfer the money. His voice sounded like I was bothering him with something meaningless. I swallowed hard, transferred the money, and hung up in silence. My heart ached. Walter was gone, but it felt like the memories of him were being buried the way my son spoke to me. Sarah was even worse. She called when she needed me to watch her 2 grandkids on the weekend because she had meetings. But when I wanted to tell her about the time Walter taught Jack how to fish on the river, Sarah just gave a half-hearted uh-huh and switched to talking about the pressure at her job. I wonder when everything had become like this. I had raised them, stayed up all night, when they were sick, sacrificed so much so they could have a good life. Now they're grown with their own families and I have become the extra person. My calls usually end with, Mom, I'm so busy, let's talk tomorrow, okay? Or worse, in an annoyed tone, Mom, don't worry so much, I can handle it myself. I sit alone in the kitchen, looking at the wedding photo of Walter and me on the wall, tears rolling down my cheeks. Oh God, have I become a burden to my own children? I tried everything. The first time I decided to speak up directly. I called Jack and told him I felt hurt when he always cut me off. Son, I'm your mother. Don't I deserve to be listened to? The result? He got defensive right away. Mom, you're too sensitive. I'm just busy, that's all. You always make me feel guilty. We argued over the phone. He only called back 2 weeks later, and everything was exactly the same. Nothing changed. It hurt me so much, you all. Then I tried the opposite. Silence. I didn't call them on my own for 3 whole months. I thought if they really missed me, they would call, but no. Jack called exactly once to ask if I could transfer more money to help him pay his credit card debt. Sarah just sent a text asking if Grandma was free to watch the grandkids. Not one word asking about my health. Not one, how are you doing these days, Mom? I felt like an ATM with emotions. Those days I lay awake all night. I thought back to the years when Walter was still alive. We were a real family. He used to say, Clara, the kids will learn from the way we treat each other. Now I wonder how long I had unintentionally taught them that Mom could be looked down on and it was okay. Every time I swallowed it, every time I forced a smile and said, I understand you're busy, honey, I was unintentionally allowing them to keep doing it. But I didn't know what else to do. Making them feel guilty didn't work. Withdrawing didn't work either. I felt trapped between two terrible choices: accept being ignored or lose the fragile connection with my children and grandchildren. Then one afternoon in June, I decided to go to the senior community center near my house. There was a group of us old friends who gathered to drink tea and share. I told Mrs. Evelyn, who is 75 and a retired teacher. Evelyn listened carefully without cutting me off even once. She held my hand and said, "Clara, you taught them to treat you this way. Every time you stayed silent and accepted it, you were training them that mom has no value except when they need something." Her words cut into my heart like a knife, but I knew it was true. Evelyn told me she had been in a similar situation with her own daughter. She had learned to set clear boundaries without emotion, focusing only on the behavior. No blaming, no crying, just state it clearly and ask for the change. I asked her how. Evelyn smiled and told me she learned it from a friend in the support group. It wasn't magic, just consistency. She gave me a simple but powerful phrase: "You're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay? That's all. No long explanations, no bringing up the past, no saying after everything I've done for you. Just state the behavior and ask for the change." Evelyn said, "You have to say it with absolute calm. Don't let emotion take over. They'll be shocked at first, but then they'll listen." I went home, sat alone in the kitchen, and repeated that sentence in front of the mirror. My voice shook at first. "Jack, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay?" It sounded mechanical, but I practiced until it came out naturally. I thought about Walter. He would be proud if he saw me standing up for myself. Sometimes we get old, but we're still afraid to confront our children. We think love means giving in, but real love is teaching them respect. Have you ever felt invisible in front of your own children? Do you ever wonder how long we've unintentionally allowed them to treat us this way? 2 weeks later, the chance came. Jack called, his voice hurried, asking if I could watch Lily for the weekend because he and his wife had a company meeting. I was about to say yes like always, but he added, "Mom, you're retired anyway. What schedule do you have? You're free." That condescending tone made my blood boil. My heart pounded. This was it. I took a deep breath and kept my voice calm like Evelyn had told me. "Jack, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay?" Silence. A silence so long I thought he had hung up. Then Jack stammered, "What do you mean, Mom?" I repeated it, slowly and clearly, without adding a single word of explanation. "You're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay?" He was silent a little longer. I heard his heavy breathing over the phone. Finally, he said in a quieter voice, "Yes, I'm sorry. Do you have time to watch Lily this weekend? I know you might have your own plans." My hands were shaking when I hung up. It worked. Oh God, it really worked. But I knew this was just the beginning. The old habits between us had existed for years. Sarah still called and complained about work. Then when I tried to share a memory about Walter, she would type away on her keyboard and say, "Tell me later, Mom." I used the same sentence again, calm but firm. "Sarah, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay?" She was surprised, but then apologized and listened. In the days that followed, I used it a few more times. Every time they cut me off, every time that superior tone appeared, I repeated it. No arguing, no crying, just state it clearly and wait. I started to feel stronger. like I was getting myself back after all the years of being the sacrificing mother. But I also knew a bigger challenge was waiting ahead. There was a big birthday party for granddaughter Lily coming up, and the whole family would be there. I had a feeling Jack and Sarah would fall back into their old habits in front of everyone. This time I had to be ready. I knew I would need to use that sentence, and this time it wouldn't be private anymore. You see, sometimes at 82 years old, we still have to learn to stand up for ourselves. Not to start a fight, but to teach our children that mom is also a person who deserves respect. I took too long to realize that, but now I know, and I hope my story will help you. What do you think if you tried saying something similar to your children today? Think about it. Because you deserve to be heard. You deserve respect, not because you're a mother or father, but simply because you are you. The chance came the following weekend at Lily's 8th birthday party held right at Sarah's house. I drove there with a bunch of roses from my own garden, my heart beating a little faster than usual. The atmosphere was cheerful. Children's laughter echoed throughout the backyard. The smell of grilled meat drifted from the outdoor kitchen. Jack and his wife had arrived early. David, Sarah's husband, was busy at the grill, and the grandkids were running around the party tables. Everyone greeted me warmly, hugged me, asked about my health. I smiled and tried to stay calm, but in my head I kept thinking about that sentence. I had practiced it dozens of times in the kitchen every evening. My voice now sounded more confident, no longer shaky like before. Walter, if you were still alive, I'm sure you would smile and say, Clara, you did great. You finally stood up for yourself. The party started smoothly. We sat around the long table in the yard, sharing funny stories about when Lily was tiny. Sarah talked about her new job at the law firm. Jack bragged that he had just signed a big repair contract. I listened, nodded, and then during a quiet moment, I gently joined in. Talking about work today reminds me of the time Walter and I drove across several states in 1987 and stopped by Lake Michigan to watch the sunset. He said our children's future would have beautiful trips like that. I was about to continue telling about the time Walter taught Jack how to hold the fishing rod on the river when Sarah glanced at her phone, shook her head lightly, and said right in front of everyone, Mom, we're talking about this summer, not some old story from Grandpa and Grandma's time. I'm busy preparing plans for the whole family. Her voice sounded superior, like I was ruining the cheerful atmosphere with ancient memories no one cared about. Everyone went quiet for a moment. Jack looked down and cut his meat. David cleared his throat softly. Lily looked at her grandma with surprised eyes. My heart pounded like a drum. My cheeks burned. This was it. The moment I feared most but also waited for most. I took a long, deep breath, kept my voice calm like Evelyn had instructed. No shaking, no anger, just clear and steady. I looked straight into Sarah's eyes and said, Sarah, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay? Silence fell over the whole party table. No one was chewing anymore. No one looked at their phone. Sarah's eyes widened, her mouth slightly open, as if I had just spoken a foreign language. Jack stopped his knife and fork in midair. David looked at his wife, then at me with a puzzled expression. Lily pulled her mom's hand and whispered, Mom, what did Grandma say? That moment felt so long I thought my heart was about to stop. I didn't explain more, didn't apologize, didn't back down. I just sat up straight and waited, exactly like Evelyn said, don't give them a chance to argue. Just state the behavior clearly and ask for the change. Sarah's face turned red. Her hand gripped the napkin tightly. She stammered, I didn't mean it that way, Mom. I repeated it slowly, still calm. Sarah, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay? This time, Sarah lowered her head and put her phone down on the table. She took a breath and said in a small but clear voice in front of the whole family, "Mom, I'm sorry. What were you saying about Lake Michigan and the trip with Dad? I want to hear the rest." Her voice was no longer superior. It was sincere. David nodded in agreement. Jack looked at me with a strange expression, as if he had just seen his old mother turn into someone else. I smiled lightly and continued the story about Walter, about the time he laughed loudly when the fish bit the hook, and Jack cheered with joy. Everyone listened, really listened. Lily asked more about Grandpa. Sarah nodded and asked questions. The party went on, but the atmosphere was different. No one saw my memories as old stories anymore. After the party, while everyone was cleaning up, Susan, Sarah's younger sister, pulled me aside and whispered, "Mom, I've never seen you do that before. You dare to say it in front of everyone. It was really impressive." I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I just wanted respect. I hugged my youngest daughter and said, "I just learned to stand up for myself, honey. I'm old, but I'm still a person. I still have memories. I still have feelings." When I got home that evening, I sat at the kitchen table, looked at the wedding photo of Walter and me, and tears rolled down my cheeks, but they weren't sad tears. I felt relieved, stronger than ever. Oh God, I finally did it. But I knew one party wouldn't change habits built over many years. Just a few days later, Jack called again to ask about fixing the car. His voice slipped back into the old way without thinking. "Mom, you're retired. Help your kids a little." I paused, took a deep breath, and said the exact same sentence. "Jack, you're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay?" He was silent, then apologized right away. "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so busy I forgot. Do you have time to help me?" The change was small but clear. Sarah started calling more often, not just when she needed me to watch the grandkids. She asked about my health, even asked more about those old trips with Walter. One time she told me about the pressure at work. I shared a difficult memory from my own past, and this time she didn't type on her keyboard anymore. She listened and said, "Mom, that's such a good story. I didn't know about this." The following month, the change became even clearer. Jack brought Lily over to my house on the weekend, not to drop her off, but because Lily wants to hear Grandma tell stories about Grandpa. Sarah defended me when David casually joked, "Mom worries too much about things far away." She cut in right away. "David, don't say that. Mom deserves respect." I heard it, and my heart felt warm in a strange way. The grandkids started to change too. They no longer rolled their eyes when I told stories. Lily even said, "Grandma, you tell such good stories. I like hearing about Grandpa." I realized that when I stayed firm with my boundaries, the whole family learned from it. Not by making them feel guilty, but by showing them that I respect myself. Have you ever wondered why your children treat you like a faint shadow? I used to think it was their fault, but now I understand part of it was because I had unintentionally allowed it. Every time I swallowed it, I taught them that Mom wasn't important. The biggest lesson here is that boundaries aren't war. They're clarity, calm, and consistency. Don't shout, don't cry, and recount the past. Just state the behavior and ask for the change. You're speaking to me in a way that makes me feel disrespected. I need you to try again and speak more politely, okay? That sentence is simple but powerful because it doesn't attack the children, it only corrects the behavior. I also learned that at 82 years old, we still have the right to change. Walter passed away in 2018, and I thought I would always be the quietly sacrificing mother. But no, I'm sure he's smiling down from heaven looking at me now. I started calling Evelyn to thank her. She laughed loudly. Clara, you did it. Now you're the one passing it on to other mothers. I thought of the old friends at the community center who were going through the same thing. I told them the story, and a few of them tried it. One lady named Martha said her son changed completely after just 2 weeks of using it. Do you dare to say your clear boundary to your children, even if your heart is pounding? Do you believe that just one calm sentence is enough to change everything? And most importantly, do you realize that you deserve respect, not because you're a mother, but because you're a person? In the months after that, my relationship with Jack and Sarah became truly close. They called not just when they needed money or babysitting anymore. They called to ask, "How are you doing these days, Mom? Do you want us to come over?" Sarah even took me out to lunch, just the two of us, and listened to me talk about Walter without cutting me off once. Jack finished fixing the car, drove over to my house to show it off, and said, "Mom, I'm really proud of you." I cried, but they were happy tears. I had gotten my dignity back and unintentionally taught my children how to respect others by respecting myself. My story isn't magic. It's the result of persistence. Every time I said that sentence, I became a little stronger. I still practice in the kitchen. I still feel nervous when I say it, but now I know its value. If you're feeling invisible in front of your children, try it. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't let the last years of your life pass in silence and hurt. You deserve to be heard. Your memories matter. Your time is precious. What do you think of my story? Please like if it touched your heart, comment and share your experience below, and subscribe to get more honest stories from me. I'm still here, still learning, still telling. Take care of yourselves, everyone, whatever that means to you.